You begged, you pleaded, you dropped your pride and handed her your spine, hoping she'd stay. But she left, and in that moment, something inside you died. You sat there in the silence, alone, like a soldier bleeding out in a war he never trained for. Rain falling, sword broken, dignity shattered. She moved on, smiling, posting, laughing, while you drowned in memories that don't even matter to her anymore. But listen to me now. That version of you, the one on his knees, dies here. No more chasing, no more pleading, no more hoping she'll come back. You're not here to fix the past. You're here to kill your weakness, to forge in fire what she never deserved to witness. You'll rise, not with noise, not with words, but with silence. And when she sees you again, she won't recognize the man you've become, because that man will be cold, focused, untouchable. It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius. And today, you begin. If this message hits something deep, if you felt the fire light up in your chest, then you already know what to do. Comment below right now. I will never beg again. I rebuild in silence. Mark it. Etch it in digital stone. Let the world know the weak version of you is dead. And if you're ready to rebuild, in silence, in discipline, in total control, then subscribe. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a battlefield. A brotherhood of men who've been broken and chose to forge themselves harder than before. Every video here is a strike against your past. Every word is a weapon. This is your training ground. Welcome to the war. Now rise. Let's be real. You didn't lose a girl. You lost your center. You lost your purpose. You lost the man you were supposed to become. And for what? A few texts, a few nights, a few promises that meant everything to you and nothing to her. You made her your mission. You gave her your time, your focus, your loyalty. And she walked away without looking back. Now you're stuck. Stuck in your head. Stuck watching her live like you never existed. Stuck replaying the same moments over and over like a broken reel of pain. But listen carefully. You didn't lose her. You abandoned yourself. You stopped chasing your own greatness. You dropped your sword and picked up neediness. You stopped leading and started chasing. And that's why you're here. Broken, confused, empty. Society taught you this lie. Real men fight for love. Real men chase her back. Wrong. Real men never chase. Real men build. She doesn't want your poems. She doesn't care about your long messages. She doesn't respect tears and begging. She only remembers one thing: the man you were before you lost yourself in her. But here's the truth no one tells you. She was never the prize. You were. Your power, your direction, your focus, your ability to go cold when it's time to cut. That's what she really wanted. That's what made her feel something. And that's what you dropped the moment you started needing her more than you needed your mission. So now, you don't chase. You don't reach out. You don't try to prove your worth to someone who couldn't see it when it was freely given. You go dark. You go cold. You go deep into the fire, not to hurt her, not to make her regret it, but to become the man she no longer has access to. The version of you that cannot be touched, not by her, not by the past, not by weakness. Epictetus said it best. If she walks away, let her. You lost nothing. What you truly are cannot be taken by anyone, unless you give it away. Now, you take it back. This video isn't for revenge, it's for rebirth. It's not about her watching you win. It's about you no longer needing her to. You don't beg, you don't plead, you rise, in silence, in fire, in total control. Let's begin. There's a moment every man remembers. The moment he pressed send on that last message. The one filled with desperation. The apology that wasn't needed. The I miss you that held no power. The voice note that sounded more like a prayer than a statement. And then, silence. No reply, No reaction, just the cold reality. You gave her the last piece of your dignity. Understand this. Every time you beg, you don't just lose her, you lose yourself. You confirm to your own soul that you are not worthy to receive. So you must plead. And in that moment, you're no longer a man. You're a servant, but she's not the queen. She's just another test, and you failed it by kneeling when you should have been walking away. There's a reason wolves don't beg. They don't bark for attention. They don't cry when another wolf leaves the pack. They walk alone, and when they return, it's with scars and silence. They carry a storm in their eyes, and no one dares approach. You're not a puppy. You're not a house pet waiting at the door. You are a wolf. You don't chase. You hunt. You begged because you thought it would fix things, because Hollywood told you real men fight for love, because songs told you to wait for her at the train station, because your heart lied to you, said she was the only one, the only chance. But the truth? She already made her choice. And every time you try to rewrite the story, you become less of the man she once respected. Here's the part no one told you. Begging doesn't bring her back. It buries you. She's not reading that text thinking, oh, maybe I was wrong. No, she's reading it and losing respect. She's showing her friends and laughing. She's screenshotting weakness. She's scrolling through your pain with indifference. Because once a man starts pleading, he becomes invisible. Now let me ask you something dangerous. Why do you want her back? Be honest. Is it because she was perfect? Number, she had flaws. She was selfish. She didn't choose you. You want her back because you miss who you were when you had her. You miss the validation, the attention, the comfort. But that's not love. That's addiction. And just like any addict, you're not healing. You're chasing your next fix. You're not building. You're waiting for someone else to fill your emptiness. That ends now. From this point forward, you stop trying to get her back. She's not coming. She's not the same. And even if she did, you'd still be weak. And she'd leave again. You don't win by convincing. You win by transforming. You don't text her. You don't check her profile. You don't ask mutual friends. You don't even think about reaching out. Instead, you go dark. You go inward. You start becoming. Let me say this in a way that pierces your chest. The man who begs is unfit to sit on the throne of his own life. You were born to build empires, not chase women. You were meant to conquer yourself, not beg for validation. This is the way of the Stoic, detached from what is not in his control, anchored in what is. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man must stand erect, not be kept erect by others." So why are you leaning on her memory to hold you up? She's gone, and now you rise, not in hope, but in honor. From this day on, you move like this. You wake up before the sun. No alarm, no delay, discipline. You train, body, mind, soul. Like a soldier preparing for war. You focus on mission, not memory. You speak less, you observe more. You give zero explanations, zero energy to drama. You walk away from anything that weakens your edge, and if she ever sees you again, she won't know who she's looking at, because you won't be the same man who begged. Here's your law from now on. Silence is power. Distance is respect. Detachment is freedom. Burn that into your brain. Tattoo it onto your soul. Make it your new operating system. You don't chase anymore. You attract through dominance, presence, and the calm fury of a man who doesn't need anyone. And yes, there will be nights you feel like breaking. Nights you want to call her. Nights the silence feels like it's cutting you apart. Good. Let it. Let the pain sharpen you. Let the darkness become your gym. Let the ache become fuel. The man who never faced the void will always depend on someone else to fill it. But you're going to master the void. You're going to build your throne inside the silence. Stop seeing her as the one that got away. She was the one that exposed your weakness. And that's a gift, because now you're becoming a man who can't be broken that way again. You begged because you didn't know who you were, but now you remember. You are steel, you are fire, you are storm, you are silence, you are unreachable to those who once ignored you. And that man doesn't send paragraphs. He writes his story in blood and stone. He moves like a ghost with a mission. He is not seen. He is felt. Final command for this chapter. Delete the texts, burn the letters, remove the photos. Let her go. Not for her, but for you. Because the man you're about to become doesn't beg. He builds. And when the day comes that she sees you again, she'll look at you with wide eyes, silent regret, and one thought in her mind. I lost him forever. But by then, you won't even turn your head, because wolves never look back. You say you're healing, you say you're moving on, but you're still checking her profile, still watching her stories, still scrolling through old photos like they're sacred scriptures. You haven't let go. You've just learned how to function while bleeding. That's not healing, that's rotting in silence. So here's the truth. You don't cut contact for her, you cut it for you. This is not a tactic. This is a ritual, a sacrifice, a severing, a declaration of war, because every time you open that message thread, every time you wonder if she's seen your story, you chain yourself to the past. You remain her pet, not her past. You are not here to cope. You are here to conquer, to become unreachable, to let the silence build something inside you that no one can touch again. Do you understand the battlefield you're standing on? This is not just emotional pain. This is mental warfare. And every whisper of her name in your mind is an enemy spy reporting your weakness. You must jam the signal, cut the feed, wipe her from your kingdom, not with hate, but with honor. Listen to me. Silence is not empty. It's loaded. With power, with distance, with mystery. You don't send the final message. You don't say goodbye. You don't post quotes to get her attention. You vanish. You die to her world. You become a ghost. The kind that haunts with presence, not noise. But won't she think I don't care? Good. Let her think whatever she wants. You're not in the business of proving anymore. You're in the business of becoming. Stop narrating your growth. Stop trying to show her you've changed. The real ones evolve in the dark. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." So stop explaining. Stop reaching. Just become so great that she can never touch you again, even if she tried. Here's the new law. If she doesn't call, she's not thinking of you. If she doesn't ask, she doesn't care. If she walked away, she already decided. What are you holding on to? A ghost? A memory? A future that doesn't exist? Every time you revisit her profile, you're injecting poison. Every just checking in is a betrayal of your healing. Delete, block, silence. Not because you're bitter, because you're busy. Let me be very clear. Cutting contact isn't weak. Clinging is weak. Hoping is weak. Monitoring her life like a stalker with no mission, that's weakness. But silence? Silence is command. It means, I know what I'm worth and I don't need to prove it. It means, I respect myself more than I need closure. It means, I'm done bleeding for someone who walked away clean. You want to be a Stoic? Then act like one. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Every conversation you rehearse in your head, every fake reunion you fantasize about, every fake scenario where she comes back crying is a fantasy. It doesn't exist, and it's draining your soul dry. Cut the noise. Return to reality. Because reality is where you rebuild. Here's your mission for today. Block her number. Delete the photos. Unfollow every social channel. Erase the playlist. Throw out the notes. Stop asking about her. Stop waiting for a message that's never coming. And if it does come, ignore it. Because kings don't answer crumbs. You don't respond to the woman who left you bleeding and walked away. You don't allow the door to reopen once you've built a wall of discipline. She had her chance. She made her choice. You make yours now. This isn't punishment, it's purification. Because the longer you stay connected, even digitally, the longer her voice echoes inside your head. You can't build in silence if you keep turning up the volume on your past. You can't evolve if her shadow is still living in your phone. You're not blocking her. You're unblocking your power. You will be tempted. The algorithm will show her. A mutual friend will mention her. A song will take you back. Your mind will scream, just look. One last time. But if you give in, you reset your healing clock to 0. And worse, you show the universe you're not serious about your transformation. So when the urge comes, breathe. Don't react. Remember, she's gone. I'm rising. You're not proving anything to her. You're proving it to you, to the future version of you watching this moment from a mountaintop years from now. The man who never went back. The man who cut everything that weakened him. The man who walked through fire without flinching. That version is watching. What will you show him? You want real power? Here it is. Don't text her on your birthday. Don't check her page when you're drunk. Don't stalk the new guy she's with. Don't reply when she just checks in. Don't fantasize about closure. Power is not noise. Power is control. And no man is powerful if he can't control his impulse to look back. This is your silent declaration. I do not need to be remembered. I do not need to be missed. I do not need to be understood. I only need to rise. And that rising, it happens alone. In silence, with no applause, with no audience, just you and the storm you're taming within. In the end, she will wonder why you disappeared, why you never reached out, why your name became a ghost, why you never gave her another window. And that's good, because wondering is the curse of those who walked away from something real. Let her wonder. You've got work to do. You've got empires to build. You've got weakness to destroy. You've got a life to live that she no longer has the privilege to witness. Final command for this chapter. Silence is your armor. Distance is your weapon. Disconnection is your freedom. So cut the contact, cut the noise, cut the weakness. Not for revenge, not for ego, but because you deserve peace more than you crave closure. And the man you're becoming, he doesn't check his past, he buries it and builds. Pain is not your enemy, it's your weapon. The question is, are you holding it, or is it holding you? You've cried enough, you've laid in bed long enough, you've overthought, replayed, rewritten the past in your mind 1,000 times, and it changed nothing. She's still gone, you're still hollow, and the only thing that grew was the weight of regret on your back. But today, that pain becomes fuel. You've been handed a fire. Now burn the weakness, burn the old habits, burn the softness, burn the laziness, burn the man who needed her more than he needed discipline. Pain is just raw energy, unformed, unfocused. You can let it drown you in distraction, or you can forge with it. You turn it into action. You carve it into your schedule. You slam it into your reps. You pour it into your focus. This is your forge now. Every heartbreak, a hammer. Every unanswered message, a blow to the old self. Every quiet, lonely night, another strike on the anvil of who you used to be. And the man rising from those flames, he's not emotional. He's engineered, not soft, but carved from cold, hard intention. You need pain. It's the only thing real enough to wake you up. Comfort never made warriors. It makes addicts, cowards, and nice guys waiting to be chosen. But pain births killers, focused machines, men who can endure storms and keep moving forward, emotionless, efficient, elite. You're not here to feel better. You're here to become better. Let's get practical. What do you do with the pain? You transmute it. You wake up early, not when you feel like it. You train hard, not for aesthetics, but for discipline. You eat clean. You read. You write. You grind. Not for applause, but for control. Your life becomes a system, not an emotion. You don't wait for motivation. You move through resistance. Every time your mind says, I miss her. You move, you work, you build. Because that pain has to go somewhere, and if you don't give it purpose, it will turn into poison. Here's a law from Marcus Aurelius. What stands in the way becomes the way. You feel crushed. Good. That weight, that's your resistance training. Push it, grow under it, let it tear you apart. So you rebuild stronger. This is how warriors are born. Not in celebration, not in support, but in silence, with sore backs, heavy minds, broken hearts, and the refusal to stay broken. You rebuild in motion, you heal through structure, you rise through repetition. Your gym becomes your sanctuary. Your alarm becomes your sword. Your routine becomes your warpath. Understand this. Discipline isn't punishment, it's revenge. The kind of revenge no one sees coming until they see you unrecognizable. Not to hurt her, but to erase who you were when you needed her. This isn't about her, it's about the man she left, and the man you now choose to become. And those two are not allowed to coexist. You'll have days where you feel empty, where motivation doesn't show up. Good. That's where the magic begins. Because when you show up anyway, without hope, without applause, without dopamine, you're forging a monster. The man who moves without needing to feel like it is unbreakable. She may have been your muse, but now pain is. She may have been your fire, but now you burn without her. There's nothing colder than a man who found purpose in suffering, because he doesn't need anything from the world anymore. He builds regardless. Remember this. Pain doesn't ask you to feel it. It demands that you use it. Every ounce of heartbreak must be converted. Wasted pain is weakness. You cry, cool. Now go lift. Now go create. Now go suffer with purpose. You don't numb it. You don't scroll. You face it head on and turn it into ritual. This isn't poetic. This is war. Every action you take is a vote for who you become. Every disciplined choice is a dagger in the back of the man who used to beg. Every time you say no to laziness, you cut ties with the version of you who was left behind. And every day you repeat that, you become harder, sharper, colder, more calculated, until one day you look in the mirror and don't recognize yourself, because the boy who loved her is gone, and in his place is you, fully forged, fully formed, unshakable. There's no end to this. Discipline is not a phase. It's not a 30-day plan. It's your new nature. You do it because it's who you are now. Not because you want her back, not because you want to show her, but because you refuse to stay weak ever again. You want a legacy? Start by winning the day. Win the morning. Win the workout. Win the cold shower. Win the decision to not check her page. Win the urge to stay comfortable. Because every time you win, you bury the old version deeper and raise a king in his place. You're no longer her ex. You're no longer the man she left. You're the ghost that rises from the ashes. The one she remembers in flashes, but can no longer reach. She doesn't get to watch the glow up. She doesn't get to see the abs, the progress, the calm, the strength. Because this isn't about performance. This is about permanence. You've changed, and the fire that once burned for her now burns everything that stands in your way. Final command for this chapter: transform or be torched. Train like your future depends on it, because it does. Use pain. Don't talk about it. Don't hide from it. Don't explain it. Harness it. Because the man who can use heartbreak as fuel, he doesn't just heal, he dominates. She hurt you. She walked away. she didn't explain, and you felt like your chest was ripped open from the inside out. You broke things. You screamed into your pillow. You told your boys, "I don't care," while checking your phone every 5 minutes. You lost control. You let emotion own you, but that ends now. Because today, you learn the highest form of power. Cold, relentless, emotional control. Listen carefully. Your emotions are not facts. Your pain is not a compass. And your heart, it lies to you when you're weak. You're not a child anymore. You don't get to react to everything. You don't get to collapse when life punches you in the face. You are a man. You are a fortress. You are still when the world screams. You are focused when others panic. You move with logic, not feelings. You want her back? You want her to regret? Then stop being predictable. Stop sending passive-aggressive messages. Stop stalking. Stop reacting. Stop acting like a boy with no spine. She's not watching your Instagram. She's watching your stability, your discipline, your energy. If she sees you move like stone, not ice cold from hate, but calm from control, that's when it hits her. You've evolved. You've gone somewhere she can't follow. But let's get deeper. This isn't just about her. This is about you versus you. Your emotions are wild beasts. They attack, they scream, they thrash. And if you don't learn how to master them, they will sabotage every relationship, every opportunity, every dream. You must become the commander on the battlefield of your own mind, watching every emotion like a soldier watches the enemy. You feel rage? Observe it. You feel sadness? Sit with it, but don't obey it. You feel jealousy? Convert it into reps, business, structure. You don't react. You respond. Deliberate, clear, precise. This is Stoicism. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You can't control her decision. You can't control who she's with now. You can't control the past, but you control this moment, this hour, this day. You control the thoughts you accept, the actions you take, the energy you waste, the focus you sharpen. Here's your new mental model. Emotions are clouds. You are the sky. Clouds pass. They come, they go. But the sky remains untouched. You do not chase them. You let them pass. With awareness, with discipline, with stillness. That's your job now, to sit inside the storm and become the eye of it. Calm, still, deadly. You think rage is power. Number, restraint is power. Self-command is the sharpest sword. Anyone can throw a tantrum, post a quote, slam a door, send a 3 a.m. message, but only a disciplined warrior can look pain in the face and say nothing, do nothing, just breathe and rebuild. You're not here to be numb. You're here to be unshakable. There's a difference. Numbness is running. Control is owning it. You feel pain, you breathe through it. You process it with clarity, and then you move forward like nothing touched you, because at your core, nothing did. Let's get brutal. If she left and you begged, that wasn't love. That was lack of control. If she posted with a new guy and you lost it, that wasn't passion. That was emotional slavery. If you're still reacting to every memory like it's fresh, that's not heartbreak. That's weakness training in disguise. So, train. Not your muscles, your mind. Cold showers, hard workouts, early mornings, silence, restraint. This is how you become untouchable. You're not the type to post how healing is messy. Number, you're the type who disappears, rebuilds, and shows up as a force of nature. You're the man who walks in the room, and people can feel the difference. Not because you speak louder, but because you react less. Still, focused, calculated. That's the energy of someone who has mastered himself. So here's the system. When emotion hits, pause. Don't act. Don't post. Don't call. Wait. Breathe. Step away. Observe. Ask, is this true or just familiar pain? Detach. Is this in your control? No? Then drop it. Redirect. Gym. Work. Cold water. Clean. Read. Building return. Return with clarity. Return with precision. Return only when you're centered. This is your emotional armor. You wear it every day, not to protect yourself from women, but to protect yourself from your own sabotage. Imagine this. She tries to bait you, posts something calculated, sends a breadcrumb, mentions your name through mutual friends, and you do absolutely nothing. That silence, that calm, that's your revenge, not out of spite, but because you're too far ahead now. You don't respond to ghosts, you bury them in discipline. Emotions want attention, but logic demands action. You don't feed the storm, you harness it. This is the most dangerous version of you, emotionally aware, but not emotionally controlled by anyone. Remember this. You are no longer a boy. You are a fortress of fire and steel. No woman, no message, no memory controls your next move. You are the master of your state, and your state determines your fate. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let that be your law. Write it down, repeat it every morning. Because if you win the war within, there is nothing outside that can stop you. Not heartbreak, not rejection, not even your past. Final command for this chapter. From now on, no more reactions, no more explosions, no more drama, just logic, just silence, just cold, precise execution. Be the eye of the storm, the stillness that outlasts chaos. The man who feels, but never folds. Emotion is a visitor. Discipline is your home. And in this house, you make the rules. You didn't lose her. Let's be honest. She was never yours. You lost your focus. You lost your path. You lost your obsession with your mission, and that's why everything fell apart. In the beginning, you had drive. You had direction. But then she came in. And slowly, you stopped chasing your goals and started chasing her. You waited for texts instead of victories. You built daydreams instead of discipline. You made her your purpose. And that was the day you lost your power. Let me say this clearly. Any man who puts a woman above his purpose will lose both. Because the masculine is not built to orbit. It's built to move forward, to build, to conquer, to transform chaos into order. She was a chapter. Your mission is the whole damn book. You forgot who you are. You forgot the empire you were building. You left the throne to follow a ghost, and now you're sitting in ashes, wondering why it all collapsed. Good. You needed the fall. Because now it's time to rebuild. Not her, not the past, not the fantasy. You, your mind, your body, your grind, your purpose. You want power again. You want clarity. You want to feel something stronger than pain. Then lock in. Tunnel vision. Delete everything that distracts you from becoming a weapon. From this moment forward, people become secondary. Purpose becomes everything. Understand this law. A woman will never respect a man who doesn't have something bigger than her to chase. She will test you. She will distract you. She will even love you more when you ignore her for your mission. Not because she wants to be neglected, but because your obsession with something greater makes you magnetic. She wants to be led, not worshipped. She wants to feel your fire, not be its source. But you gave her the throne, and no queen respects a man who gives up his kingdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Be one, not by words, not by posts, not by telling her you've changed, but by vanishing into the work, by becoming obsessed with your craft, your fitness, your finances, your freedom. Because when you're locked in, there is no time for heartbreak. When you're deep in your mission, her name doesn't echo anymore. Her face fades. Her power dies. Your new life is not about balance. It's about sacrifice. Cut friends who drain you. Cut habits that waste you. Cut noise that distracts you. Cut women who offer attention without value. Every distraction is a dagger. Every weakness is a leak in your warship. You're not here to be liked. You're here to build something so powerful that they regret ever doubting you. Your path is sacred. Not everyone is invited. Not every hand deserves to be held. Not every voice deserves your time. Because when you finally commit to your mission, you become unreachable. She can text you. You don't flinch. She can post. You don't blink. She can show up. You don't move. You are locked in, eyes forward, world behind. Let me paint you a vision. You're up before the sun. Alone, focused, cold shower, brutal workout, high-protein breakfast, reading, writing, planning, executing, no scrolling, no liking, no reacting, no emotional waves, just movement, like a war machine. Silence, focus, domination, and when the world finally wakes up, you've already won the day. That's power. That's what she won't be able to ignore. Not the new haircut. Not the quote posts, not the gym selfies, but your absence, your elevation, your obsession with something bigger than her. You don't get her back by trying. You make her irrelevant by ascending. This is how warriors move. We write when others whine. We train while others talk. We build when others beg. We walk away while others chase. We cut ties with the old self, daily. Because every hour spent focused is a funeral for the weak version of you. And guess what? People will hate it. They'll say you're selfish. They'll say you changed. They'll say you're cold. Good. Let them talk. You're not building for them. You're building for the man you were born to be, the version that was buried under comfort, validation, and weakness. This isn't personal. It's surgical. Cut what doesn't serve. Burn what doesn't belong. Because the fire you walk through now is the same fire that will light your future. So what is your purpose? Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's mastery. Maybe it's your body. Maybe it's building wealth. Maybe it's becoming a father one day worth following. Maybe it's becoming the first man in your bloodline to break the cycle. Whatever it is, you go all in. No backup plans, no fallback, no comfort, only forward. This is not just heartbreak recovery. This is rebirth. You're not healing anymore. You're evolving, becoming stoic, unemotional, focused, relentless. And the only love you chase now is the love of the man you're becoming. Let her watch. Let her wonder. Let her whisper. But don't let her enter. The door is sealed. The fire is burning. The empire is under construction. And she's not on the blueprint. You are no longer seeking comfort. You are seeking purpose. And purpose forgives no distractions. Final command for this chapter: purpose over people, mission over memory, vision over validation. You don't build to prove her wrong. You build to prove yourself right. So cut the noise, burn the past, work like a man possessed. Because in the end, she was a test. But your purpose is the reward. You don't owe the world an explanation. You don't owe her a single update. You don't owe your friends progress reports. You owe yourself transformation, and you do it in silence. Stop announcing, stop explaining, stop posting your healing journey. Just vanish, disappear, go dark, rebuild in silence, reappear as a ghost. This is where the real shift happens. Not in public, not in conversations, not in loud gym posts or motivational reels. It happens alone, when no one's watching, when you're grinding at 5 a.m., when you're sweating in a room with no cameras, when you're bleeding into your purpose while the world sleeps. Silence isn't weakness, it's warfare. You see, people talk because they're insecure. They want credit without doing the work. They want sympathy. They want applause. But stoic men? They don't need validation. They're too dangerous for that. They build in silence, like assassins forging blades in the shadows. By the time the world sees the sword, it's already too late. You don't tell her you've changed. You become someone she wouldn't recognize, not because you got stronger, but because you became unreachable. You don't show up in her life to prove your worth. You don't need to. She lost access, not because she wasn't valuable, but because you outgrew her presence. She belonged to your old self, and he's dead now. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat in total silence? No music, no distractions, no scrolling, just you and your reality. That silence, that's the forge. That's where boys become men, where weakness gets burned off like dead skin, where your mission gets carved into your soul. The man who can sit in silence without needing noise is the man who cannot be shaken. Stop letting everyone know what you're doing. You don't need to announce every move. You don't need to post every win. You don't need her to see you doing better. Let her guess. Let her wonder. Let her wake up one day and realize the version of you she knew no longer exists. Ghosted, gone, evolved above her frequency. Because here's the brutal truth. Every time you post your progress for someone else, you give away a piece of your power. Every time you share your pain for validation, you tell the world you still need comfort. Every time you talk about your goals, you reduce them to conversation. You're not here to speak. You're here to become. Disappearing isn't weakness. It's tactical. You don't train in public. You train in caves, like ancient warriors, like monks, like assassins, like legends. No one sees the hours, the suffering, the repetition, the rebirth. They only see the return, sharp, focused, unbothered, silent. And by then, it's too late to figure you out. You want real power. Don't block her. Don't text her. Don't say a word. Just vanish. Let her check your page and find nothing. Let her text you and get no response. Let her realize you didn't just walk away. You disappeared into greatness because the ultimate revenge is no reaction, no drama, no message, just absence. You don't reappear with proof. You don't show up to rub it in. You reappear as a force, so changed, so distant, so beyond reach that even if she wanted back in, she'd choke on her regret because you've become untouchable. Think of it like this. You were once a flame she could blow out. Now you're a wildfire that consumes anything that steps too close. You were once a text away. Now you're an idea, a memory, haunting but gone. You was once predictable. Now you're mythical. Because ghosts don't explain. Ghosts don't argue. Ghosts don't come back for closure. They rise, they watch, and they never speak again. Marcus Aurelius didn't post quotes. He wrote in private. He didn't beg for understanding. He practiced presence. He didn't announce his virtues. He became them. Follow his example. So what do you do now? Cut the world off. Go dark. No updates, no flexes, no watch me win energy. Focus on your craft. Read, train, work, refine. Every hour in silence builds the next version of you. Track progress privately. Keep a journal, a scoreboard, a blueprint. No one needs to know your next move until it's already done. Return when it's time. Stronger, sharper, unrecognizable. And even then, say nothing. Let your presence speak volumes. Let your energy be a shockwave. Let your growth be the ghost that haunts their mind. You're not chasing her anymore. You're chasing legacy. You're chasing unbreakable self-mastery. You're chasing the kind of silence that makes the world lean in and wonder who you are now. You are not accessible. You are not public. You are a storm forming on the horizon. And by the time they hear you, you're already here. Let her think she won. Let them think you fell off. Let everyone forget your name. Because when you come back, you won't be the same. You'll be something else. Something they don't have the language for. Something so dialed in, so elite, so coldly present, they won't know whether to fear you or admire you. Final command for this chapter. Don't explain, don't announce, don't perform, just vanish. Go ghost, rebuild in silence, and when you return, don't say a word. Because the loudest move is moving without noise, and the man who disappears to transform always returns as someone they regret losing. There comes a point where healing stops, and forging begins. You've cried, you've cut contact, you've trained, suffered, focused, you've gone silent. Now it's time to kill the last part of you that still hopes she notices. Because this isn't about her anymore. It never was. This is about evolution, about becoming unrecognizable. You don't rise as the guy who got over her. You rise as a ghost with a purpose, a blade with no owner, a man with no leash. Pain didn't ruin you. It revealed you. You didn't survive heartbreak. You used it as fire. And what came out of that fire isn't emotional, isn't desperate, isn't soft. It's iron, pure, cold, precise. When you looked in the mirror before, you saw a boy chasing love, validation, comfort. But the man staring back at you now, he doesn't chase, he doesn't plead, he doesn't even flinch. His eyes are empty of need. His schedule is full of purpose. His silence screams dominance. Because the final transformation isn't visible. It's energetic. Let's be brutally honest. She will never know this version of you. She never earned it. She knew the soft one, the boy who apologized for being masculine, the one who bent, broke, begged. This version. She couldn't handle him. She couldn't even reach him. You no longer speak the same language. You don't even exist in the same timeline. You're gone. What remains is a memory made of steel. Transformation doesn't mean becoming nicer. It means becoming unforgiving with your time, your energy, your standards. You no longer tolerate half-effort. You don't respond to crumbs. You don't entertain the idea of maybe she's changed, because you changed so much that she could stand in front of you and feel like she's staring at a stranger. And you know what? You won't even blink. This is your final stage. You no longer seek peace with your past. You bury it like a graveyard in your mind. No flowers, no memorials, just silence. Every piece of you that used to feel for her, it died in that fire. And in its place, a machine now walks. Built for one thing, purpose. You are no longer emotional. You are efficient. You are selective. You are untouchable. Every habit, thought, movement, refined. Everything soft, removed. Everything wasted, burned. You are bare steel, no polish, no shine, just brutal functionality. She wanted closure. You gave her extinction. She wanted attention. You gave her distance. She wanted the old you. That man doesn't exist anymore. Understand this truth. You are not her lesson. You are her wake-up call. The man who slipped through her fingers and never returned, not out of pride, but because you found something better. Yourself, at full power, unapologetic. You became the monster you were hiding all along. And that monster isn't evil. He's disciplined. He doesn't chase. He builds empires in silence, and he never asks for permission again. You didn't glow up. You erased weakness. You killed comfort. You buried softness. You forged cold logic, structure, and unshakable presence. This is not revenge. It's rebirth, and rebirth requires death. Of the old identity, of the emotional attachment, of the part of you that needed anyone. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. You realized it. And now, you're untouchable. No message breaks you, no silence shakes you, no woman owns your center. You are now the storm, not the kind that screams, but the kind that arrives in silence and changes everything it touches. Your energy is lethal. Your presence is earned. Your time is sacred. And the people who meet you now will never know the version that broke for her, because you don't carry scars, you carry weapons. Your new rules: you speak less, you build more, you never explain, you never chase, you never feel sorry for getting stronger. You leave softness at the door and walk in like a calculated threat. She might reach out one day. She might say, "I miss you." She might say, "You've changed." And you'll simply nod. Because it's true. You did change. But not for her, not to win her back, not to make her regret. You changed because the fire demanded it, because weakness was no longer an option, because average was a death sentence. Let her see you, let her stare. But understand, she's not looking at the man she left. She's looking at a stranger, a shadow, a ghost in human skin, built from discipline and rage and silence. You're not angry, you're not bitter, you're just evolved. The boy she knew wore his heart on his sleeve. The man you are now wears armor, thick, silent, unbreakable, and beneath it, a fire that answers to no one. Final command for this chapter: stop revisiting the wreckage. Stop proving anything. Stop lowering yourself to be seen. You didn't survive. You rebuilt. Harder, colder, stronger. You turned ashes into iron. You became the man she never imagined losing, because she never imagined you'd become someone she could never access again. You didn't return better. You returned unrecognizable. You've been lied to, told to be kind, told to be soft, told to be nice, polite, agreeable. And she'll love you. She'll stay. She'll respect you. But she didn't, did she? You were the one who listened, who gave her space, who sent the sweet messages, who cared. And she still walked. Because the nice guy doesn't get love. He gets used. He gets tolerated. He gets replaced. Not because he's bad, but because he's forgettable, predictable, powerless. And now, it's time to kill him. This isn't about becoming cruel. It's about becoming clear. Because kindness without strength is not virtue. It's weakness in a polite costume. The nice guy is a mask. Underneath it, fear, neediness, approval addiction. He's scared to say no, scared to walk away, scared to be misunderstood. But the Stoic man, he doesn't need to be liked. He needs to be respected. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't overtext. He doesn't fold when she's confused. He leads. He decides. He disappears without drama when respect dies. Let me be blunt. She doesn't want a nice guy. She wants a man with a spine, with purpose, with boundaries that cut like blades. A man who doesn't need her, who chooses her, and walks away the moment she disrespects the choice. And that man has no room for the nice guy. You say, but I'm a good man. Good. Then stop letting people walk on your goodness. Your kindness should be earned, not freely handed out like candy. Your time? Sacred. Your energy? Guarded. Your attention? Expensive. If anyone wants access to you, they better bring respect or they get removed. Quietly, without warning, without negotiation. You were raised to please, to avoid conflict, to make everyone comfortable. But a man doesn't exist to make people comfortable. He exists to carry weight, make decisions, and set the tone of his world. You're not here to blend in. You're here to lead, and that means being unapologetically masculine. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Translation: be okay with being misunderstood. Be okay with being called cold. Be okay with walking away when it hurts. Because the nice guy bends. But the Stoic man, he breaks the damn game. You need to become ruthless with yourself. Ruthless with distractions, with indecision, with women who play games, with friends who waste your time, with the version of you that seeks approval like a child. You kill him every single day. No more over-explaining. No more asking for clarity from people who gave you confusion. No more just checking in. No more, hey, just wondering if... That man is dead, buried in a cold grave of silence and self-respect. So what does the ruthless Stoic look like? He speaks when needed, not to fill silence. He works when tired, not only when motivated. He walks away when disrespected, not when it's convenient. He gives without expecting, leads without needing praise, loves with clarity, not desperation. And when she tests him, he doesn't react. He decides with calm, quiet certainty. This isn't about becoming toxic. This is about becoming dangerous in your discipline. Because the truth is this: women don't fantasize about men they can control. They fantasize about men they can't shake, men they can't figure out, men they can't move emotionally. The more detached you are from outcome, the more magnetic you become. The nice guy flinches. The Stoic freezes the room with one look. The nice guy texts paragraphs. The Stoic sends nothing, and his silence echoes like thunder. The nice guy begs for peace. The Stoic brings it with him everywhere he goes. You want to evolve. Start setting brutal boundaries. Late replies? Gone? Disrespect? Blocked? Inconsistency? Removed. Emotional games? Ghosted. Mixed signals? Signal lost. You don't owe anyone access. You are no longer a vending machine for affection. You're a temple. Entry is earned. This also means cutting the nice guy inside you, the one that wants to be seen as sweet, the one that fears being alone, the one that holds back truth to avoid offending. He is the enemy, and you must kill him daily, with truth, with silence, with the gym, with routine, with purpose. You're not cold because you were broken. You're cold because you were burned. And you refuse to stay soft afterward. That's transformation, not healing, not coping, not working on yourself. Becoming ruthless with your evolution. Let her talk. Let them say you've changed. Let the world call you selfish. You are no longer chasing connection. You are defining your standard. And those who can't meet it don't get another chance. Final truth: she didn't leave because you were nice. She left because your niceness replaced your power. Now your power returns. Cold, unemotional, principled, sharp, final command. For this chapter, stop trying to be liked. Start being respected. Be feared if you must, but never be ignored again. Kill the inner nice guy, and in his place, build the Stoic. One who moves with purpose, one who speaks when needed, one who walks alone but never looks back. Because the man who stops begging to be loved finally becomes the one who is unforgettable. You begged, you cried, you broke, you gave everything, and she still walked. And for a while, you thought that was the end of you. But it wasn't. It was the beginning. That wasn't a heartbreak. That was your awakening, your trial by fire, the moment the boy died and the man began to rise. You thought you needed closure. You thought you needed another chance. You thought if she just saw the real you, she'd come back. But now you see clearly. You didn't need her. You needed this pain. You needed silence. You needed the darkness to remember your light. This journey, it was never about getting her back. It was about getting you back. The you who trains without validation. The you who wakes up with fire in his gut. The you who leads without begging. The you who walks away when he's disrespected. You are not the same man. You are colder, wiser, sharper, harder, untouchable. She didn't just lose a boyfriend. She lost access to a king. The man you've become doesn't check her page. He doesn't send messages at 2 a.m. He doesn't ask, "Do you miss me?" Number. He trains, he reads, he builds, he leads. He doesn't ask for attention. He earns respect through presence, through silence, through discipline. You once begged for love. Now you command your own life. You once pleaded for answers. Now your eyes say everything, and your silence says more. You once chased comfort. Now you chase purpose like a predator in the wild. Remember this: the world doesn't respect softness. It respects edge, power, direction. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to show her. You just have to live like you were forged in fire. Because you were. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." She was the obstacle. And now she's the reason you became dangerous. She was the way. So where do you go from here? You don't go back. You don't explain. You don't wait. You move forward, like a ghost in the mist, like a sword sliding from its sheath, like a man who knows what he wants and doesn't hesitate. This world is full of noise, full of men crying out to be seen, full of nice guys begging to be loved. But not you. You are still. You're silent. You are stoic. Because you know the secret. The most powerful men are the ones who need nothing from anyone. So here is your new oath. You will no longer beg. You will no longer explain. You will no longer chase approval. You will build. You will focus. You will rise. And if they remember you, they'll remember a man they couldn't reach. A man who vanished and came back as something too great to even recognize. Final command. Walk away from weakness. Walk away from the version of you that needed her. Walk into your mission, into your silence, into your fire. Because heartbreak didn't break you, it built you. And now, you don't beg. You become.